friends over, and I've been here for months and whatever. So the rest are pretty friendly, and I told him come over, bring me a bottle of wine, and it was like it, right? Yeah. Like wine, whatever. He came over, we hung out, we listened to some music. I don't know, at midnight I went to bed and I said, Rex, don't go, just sober up a little bit because I don't want you to drink and then drive home. So I went to bed and that was it. And then the next morning when I started feeling really like weird vibes from you, and I'll go through and I'll tell you exactly what happened. And I thought it was maybe because of that, right? But I didn't say anything, I just laughed. And my only communication with Rex completely from then until now, he sent me some food documents. And I said, I appreciate it. That's the day I called him. He said, on my way. I said, I cooked dinner, thank you so much. And he said, just hey, want to let you know, whatever. Hey, how are you doing? This was back in whatever. I said, hey Rex, happy late 420. So Kelly should be back on Friday. I hope you are doing well. And he said, this was way later, May 14th. Sorry, I haven't responded to you. But there was nothing to respond to. I was responding to him. Like I said, hope you're well, whatever. And I said, he said, I've been busy trying to get used to this new position and keeping my house together, but I used to Kelly. And I didn't even respond to him because I felt like his response on that question was like, did I respond? I didn't respond, right? Yeah. I just laughed at that because I felt there was some issues here with that. But I'm definitely gonna press charges for trespassing because part of my bundle of agreements, as you know, is right to possession and nobody going into my apartment. And that was not okay in any way. And besides that, like my packages, like before I left to California, right? There were so many packages missing. Still hats, there were 3 hats that came in. I ordered 6, all delivered. I wasn't sure. All the deliveries that being delivered when I wasn't here or didn't get, I expect like you guys to figure something out.
Have you been down to look and see if they're in the package room? We can go check.
We can go check, yeah, because before I even left, there was so much stuff that didn't come through. And so you said like go through the portal, and there's nothing in the portal. We changed the emails. There's not one code that came through.
Come in here. Let's look in the lecture.
Rex, it's nothing about you, nothing personal. This is about the law of what I pay for, and it's a contract, right? So it's not anything personal for you or.
I'm confused as to. I don't know if I'm confused. Let's see. Yeah, no, I didn't know that he was at your apartment or anything. Let's see. You can sit there. Yeah, it looks like you got several packages in the package room. See all like the bold black? Mm-hmm. That means this hasn't been picked up yet. So we can go down there and search the whole
Sure.
one.
That's my least of my concerns. I mean, like obviously I wasn't here, so I don't know. Do I need to remember this?
No, we have to. Yeah, you're good.
So, Sharon, I would like this meeting to be with other people, so we're not, going back and forth and stuff. I felt very upset with you when you walked past my apartment and I was bringing out food and you were with another client, right? And you said something very rude to me like, oh, she's only up when her music's super loud or whatever. And I know that it might not have been something that you meant to upset me, but it did upset me because I felt like you were attacking me. And the only thing I did was have Rex come over for 2 hours and hang out, and I cried my eyes out. And, we drank some wine and said, sober up. And as I said, ask him, honest to God, on my life, I went to bed, I said, Rex, whenever you leave, let yourself out, just don't drive drunk or in any way. Yeah. And we only drank 1 bottle of wine, so it wasn't like we were wasted or anything. But I was very sad and I was emotional. And he did a great job of just comforting me and saying funny things like a friend would. Yeah. And compared to that, I know nobody here. And that I didn't entertain anybody here. I thought he would be a safe choice, but I also felt that upset you in some way.
I didn't even know he was at your apartment, so I knew nothing about it.
I'm sure you knew because everybody tells you exactly who's coming in and out. And if there was a security guard coming in and leaving at a certain time, I'm sure somebody would have said something. But I will give you the benefit of the doubt and say that nobody knew or nobody said anything. And so when I left, I told Pepe that, Shannon has been really up one but on me. I don't know what I did, but I know I didn't do anything wrong to her, but I don't feel like I can even stay here. I need to leave and come back to the Bay because like I'm being punished for something that I didn't even do. And this was like the second or third time, and this was my feelings, right?
Yeah.
I brought you the flowers, I brought you the stuff, I told you, take out the stuff because there's pork and whatever. When I was downstairs, I was talking to Rex too, you and Ali came downstairs, and Ali was talking to me so nicely, and I felt completely blindsided by you. You were downstairs, I was waiting for the lift, and like you passed me several times and just ignored me like completely. Normally you'd have a smile for me, whatever, and I was like, maybe I'm just hypersensitive, and I am a very sensitive person. So I was like, Pepe, I don't know what's, like, maybe Shannon feels like I did something wrong, or maybe the music was too loud, or maybe something was whatever, but I don't feel comfortable. I have to leave. Because you guys, I don't know anybody else besides you guys, right? Yeah. So if I'm feeling like alienated against that, then I don't want to be here. I don't want to be anywhere where I'm not wanted, and this is my home. And so I flew back to Pepe, and I told him this whole thing, right, Jim? Mm-hmm. And then when we walked into the apartment, that box of stuff with food has been in there for 2.5 months.
That was my fault. I forgot that you had told me that to take that out. So
but isn't it weird that I told him that, like, I don't even think she's going to take the food out the way she treated me on my way out, right? So that, anyways, I'm a big girl. That doesn't matter. If I did something to offend you, I think that the adult thing to do would be, like, come talk to me and say, and also as a business person here, you don't talk about my music while you with another guest who's looking at the building. You tell me, hey Sharon, somebody complained about the music, or there was a noise level, you send me a warning, you send me another warning, and then you take it from there after, whatever. But to like just talk to me out, and that's completely unprofessional. And as a broker myself, because 10 years I had my broker's license, I was a backup broker for my husband, who we had a real estate business, property management for 10 years, very successful, $10 million business that we sold for. So I have a very good idea what the law is. And in California, because we have the most strictest and stringent laws, I can practice real estate here and anywhere else in the world, but everybody else can't practice in California. So I'm pretty sure I'm on the right side of the law of this, and also 10 years of it. Going into my apartment and having that was completely, I did not understand that Rex had not been, like, he's not downstairs anymore. As soon as I came in yesterday, I got complaints from the first person, and I'm not talking to no one, right? The first person, I don't even know the guy, never seen him before, trying to get into the building because I don't have my keys. There was a homeless person following us, and all came to the door, and we went inside the glass, and then security followed him, and that's how he got a hold of me. And I'd never seen this guy before. Okay. And he started talking to me and bad-mouthing you about why there's no third shift and why they're all so pissed off. And then he says he's going to call somebody else, the next person, which was, what's his name?
I don't remember his name.
The tall, blonde guy. He's super tall.
Well, everyone's super
tall. A resident?
No, he's
a security guy.
Colin?
Not Colin. He was here the night that I came in. Not last night, night before.
Tuesday night? Wednesday night?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tuesday night.
Short hair, like blue eyes, a little bit bigger, heavier.
I'm not. No, it's not Jason.
I've seen him there many times. I've seen him before.
I'm trying to figure out who it is. Okay.
Same story. On the elevator, I had a television and some stuff here, and I'm not saying anything about you. I'm not entertaining because, number one, I'm not an idiot. When what's his name? The other guy who was here, Jacob. When Jacob was here, Jacob was very friendly with me, blah, 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 blah. And then one day I said to him, hey, Jacob, when I go back to California, can I just find you on social media so I have some contact with you? And he said, yeah, shoot me an invite, whatever. He never accepted the invite. So
he didn't accept mine either.
I would never, never, like, at that point, I get the idea. So we're friendly, but we're not really friends, okay? And that's how it should be, because this is a business. This is not what anything else. And so I got it. And then another time when you weren't sure, I told Ali and Jacob, like, I wanted to throw you a surprise birthday party. Like, why don't we just do the cakes and stuff? And the way they reacted to it, I was like, shit, man, I'm on the wrong side of this too. And never asked again. So I'm not somebody who's unaware and unconscious. I'm very aware and very conscious and very respectful of other people. When I talked to Rex, the little bit that I talked to him when he was in, keep in mind, yesterday I was on Adderall from driving, trying to drink, to sleep. I didn't think I was seeing anybody. I didn't even know that was, I told you I'll see you tomorrow, and I was planning to just go to bed. So I had some conversations maybe I shouldn't have had, but a lot of almost every single person, including Rex, came to me and said they all have a problem with you. And I've never entertained one of their conversations or whatever, because I believe that's like, it's like phone, not telephone. I tell you something, you tell you something, and then it just goes around the block, completely unprofessional and illegal. You know, I feel there's a breach of my contract. I feel like there's a breach of my apartment. You guys know that you cannot go into the apartment, right? Under no circumstances are you allowed to go. It's one of the 5 possessions of the law that you get, the right to quiet enjoyment, and what I do in there, because I paid for that, you know. And here's the thing, when I called Allie, I said to Allie, hey, I didn't hear back from Shannon because I had a missed call from you, right, on the 15th. And at that point, I wasn't even necessarily worried because I knew you had a deposit that covered the month's rent. So I was still in the plus. It wasn't even like I was behind should something have happened. So I wasn't terribly concerned about, like, I didn't even know what was happening for myself or what decisions I was going to make. And so I had my lawyers look into it. And my ex-husband, who is my sponsor, has to pay up to $20,000 a year for my rent. So that's, by sponsoring me, that's what he agrees to. And the way to do that is to file the paperwork and have to be 30 days late on rent, and then it goes through and you get the money. But the funny thing is, even though my ex-husband sponsored me, when I went to South Africa 10 years ago, I stayed out of the country a little bit longer than I was supposed to, and I had no idea I was supposed to come back and then leave. And so they revoked my permanent residence, and I had to redo the entire thing and put all the funding for myself. And so when we came back to California, I was filing in for my executive chef license, and they said, oh, they had a problem with my new whatever. So I was so scared, and he went with me to the immigration, and I said, look, there's a problem. And they said, these idiots made a mistake. They re-put me through instead of just unhooking my old permanent residence, because it hadn't been done before. So they unhooked it and whatever. So there's 2 sources of income there. There's one that I've already paid $100,000 to cover anything that might happen, and then the next is that my ex-husband has to pay me till I become a citizen.
Gotcha.
So those are the 2 things that, you know, that you could use or not use or whatever. And that's what I was thinking, that I'm going to come here, you know, and just take care of it. And sorry that I wasn't more proactive about it, but like I was learning as I was going. And as soon as, like, I mean, you called me on the 15th, and even that conversation, Pepe, the message was, hi, this is Shannon, your rent is not paid. And I was like, what about how are you? Or and this is all aligning with how I felt when you treated me, like talking to me badly for the loud music or whatever. And so it was one thing on top of the other, on top of the other, on top of the other, that's now stacked us here. And my resolution is, like, I don't want to cause issues. I don't want to cause problems. I would like to get off of this floor and a 2-bedroom apartment, because now Pepe has to stay with me, and he was okay to sleep in the lounge, but I would really like to get
your own bedroom.
Right. Yeah. So, and just be back to normal, forget all this ever happened, and out my lease like that. And I don't want to go down this path. But if not, and you guys don't agree to that, then we can continue, and I'll still pay through that. But I'm pressing charges for trespassing and breach of contract, because I mean, this is just like how you needed to call me and say the rent is due. This is a contract, and I have a right to these things, and I don't even understand why. I've been super, super nice and super to everybody, and even like when Rex was there, once it reached midnight, I was like, I'm going to bed. Super, super aware and conscious of who I am, where I am, and what I'm doing. So for me to be treated that way was really hard. Like, even for coming back, I did not want to come back by myself. I told Pepe, I'm not going to go by myself. I have PTSD, severe PTSD. And when I get lonely and when I get stuff like that, like, I just want to show you, my entire body is covered in cuts, right? And so for me to have, like, people around me and to have whatever is really important. Like, I get very down, and when I feel like people are coming against me, I don't like confrontation, so I take it out on myself. And I'm working on this to, like, stop cutting, and I mean, I have with a therapist for like 5 years now, but to have just somebody come over and sit there with me was the best thing. But the worst thing was, like, to have it misconstrued, taken out in a way that's less than loving to me. and also breaking and violating my rules. Nobody should be in my apartment. Those were the only. If Rex wanted to go into my apartment, he could have just sent me a text and said, "Hey, do you want me to leave your stuff inside?" And I would have been fine about that.
Yeah.
You know, I would have said, "No, please don't go inside," because I haven't given anybody permission to leave, and I wasn't planning to leave. So my apartment was in a big mess, like my clothes and stuff. I just took out the stuff that I knew needed to go out, all the fresh plants and flowers and fruits and whatever, so there wouldn't be anything rotting in there. And did my due diligence to leave. But my mess and my closet being on my bathroom floor is for nobody to see.
Yeah.
You know, it's absolutely inappropriate.
Okay. So let me talk for 1 second.
Yeah, that's all I have.
First of all, yeah, we adore you. Every day since you left, we're like, where's Sharon? Why isn't she back yet? And then because you were supposed to come around back that week before Derby. So we got very nervous as to if everything was okay with you.
Yeah,
But
the week off Derby, I just want to say sorry to interrupt
no,
you.
you're
The
fine.
week off Derby, my friends who have a horse, they own a cannabis club in San Francisco, and because of the new laws in New York that had just passed, they went to open a store there. So I couldn't hold it against them.
Yeah.
And like if they weren't going to come, it wasn't worth me coming back for Derby
Gotcha.
when I saw it.
And that makes sense. You know, as far as you feeling like a certain type of way because you think I was mad at you or any, absolutely not. You're one of my favorite residents in this building, so it actually hurts my feeling and it hurts my heart a little bit that you feel that I made you feel that way. So I'm very sorry. Like I said, I'm one of the ones every day I'm like, I miss Sharon. You know, where's Sharon? And there's nothing better than going down that hall, knowing that you're there and smelling all this wonderful food that you're making. So when you were leaving, I mean, they had just reduced prices. It was just me and Allie at that point. We were so busy. So walking by you or, you know, not saying anything wasn't anything malicious whatsoever. We adore you. I mean, you don't even know how much we do, you know? And like I said, I feel really bad if I made you feel a certain type of way.
And you know, sometimes like I'm very into relationships and I'm very into people, and I understand sometimes like our personalities and what we're doing on a day-to-day basis is just the tip of the iceberg, and underneath is the subconscious, and sometimes we're doing things that we don't even realize that we're doing because we're being guided by the subconscious, right?
Yeah.
So for example, he and I have a codependency relationship, right? So he needs me, I need him to wash the dishes and do all these things.
Yeah.
He needs me to boost him up and give him the confidence to, we understand it.
Yeah.
So we can work within the means of it, and we are both in a relationship that's mutually beneficial, but not gaslighting and doing things and meeting our needs undercover, which causes a lot of problems. So this is why I say, even if you didn't realize that, or maybe if you were not conscious, I have a lot of patience, and that's nothing, that's your business, that's not for me, right? So how I was feeling about that, that's entirely up to me. But when it crossed the line about like the garbage still being in there and somebody entering my apartment, that's for me.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm telling you, I forgot about the garbage. I mean, it was a crazy time when you were leaving, so that's my fault. I'll put all that on me. As far as the packages, I just need to talk to Rex. I didn't know that, and hand to God, that's one person that I'm not as somebody that lies. I did not know that he was at your apartment, and even if he was at your apartment, that's none of my business. You know, that wouldn't make me feel any type of different way
It shouldn't.
between you and him. No,
Right.
it's none of my business.
Right,
So, like I said, I'm telling you right here, right now, on everybody in my family's grave that I did not know he was over there, and it had nothing to do with the last time I saw you. Like I said, the last time I saw you, I'm sure I was stressed as all get out, and I do apologize for that. You know, I keep saying it and I keep saying it. You are one of our favorite residents. So if we made you feel like that whatsoever, we are very sorry. We don't want you to go anywhere. Like I said, we've missed you the whole time you've been gone.
Right, and I've been so super impressed with all of you.
Yeah.
Like I go out of my way to cook and make sure that different people get different foods as much as I can because I freaking care. And I do it for nothing. I don't want anything in return other than you guys to be blessed and be happy and whatever. No, I don't do it for any special treatment. And ask him wherever I go, I do it. Like it's not just one place. And
we can tell that.
And I believe it's because I give so much that I get so much.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm also not a stranger to people being jealous for me being bullied.
Yeah.
And unfortunately in this climate, to be a dark-skinned person and to say anything means you're an angry black woman. So I tend to just absorb it.
Yeah.
And there's only so much you can absorb till it just becomes very painful on your soul. And it also hurt me a lot because I felt like I made a personal connection with you. I don't reach out to people, especially women or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and I thought that, like, wow, there's Shannon, this boss bitch running this building and being so welcoming to me and helped me. And you didn't do anything extra. You didn't go out of your way, but just the fact that you treated me with respect and kindness and all those things, I was so impressed, and that motivated me to want to take care of the people in the building. Because here's the thing, even as a boss and as a mom, it doesn't matter what you do for me, but if you bless my kids, that's 10 times more. If you bless my business, that's 10 times more to me. So the way that I feel that I give back and am kind and loving is to show not necessarily just you, but everybody else as well that work for you. And I've gone out of my way to make good friendships, not to see people, like whether it's the janitor or the security or the second in charge, I treat everybody the same, and I want them to know that their relationship to me is a one-on-one, very personal, and it doesn't matter what, I don't ask people what you do when I meet them. You know, it's do I like you or don't I like you, and I don't put people in a box to classify where they are, what they're doing. And Sundance Film Festival just approved me for 2022's $1 million recipient for young directors to tell my story. So they have a crew from South Africa that's going to fly here and follow me around and all these things. The 31st of July is when all the paperwork needs to be submitted and finished. So from then it'll premiere 6 months later in Park City in January for 20. Right, very exciting. But how exciting is that to come here and to feel the way that I felt, like not so good. And not just that, like everybody's complaining about you, like everyone to me. I don't want retaliation because I kind of felt that's what happened with Rex, even though I didn't do anything. So I'm being very upfront and overly honest to say, like, I don't even want to bring this to you because I fear, number one, that you might take it out on them. Number two, that because of what I went through, obviously I'm not going to say anything. Like, it's like you play with matches, you get burnt, you don't. But every single one of these people have come and said, like, hey, I've got a problem with Shannon, and I want to know what's going on with you, and I've been telling people to get a hold of you, and I didn't entertain any of that. Like, even Rex said he had a problem with you. I didn't ask him what it was. I gave him some food. I said, here's your food. Enjoy it. Come hang out with me later. Come, whatever. I did not. And that's on purpose. So somebody, even my tire junket state might have thought like, oh, she's not interested or whatever, which is what I want them to think. But I'm not interested in talking about anything or anybody. I'm not for gossip. I'm not for that stuff. If you're a good person, you're kind to me. That's all I care about. I'm not here to look at people's shadows and use that to my advantage or not. So every single one of them, which has been 6 people, all of them, you can ask them. I've not once asked, what was it? Give me the scoop, and keeping in mind that I'm telling you how I felt in this whole thing. I just pretended like I didn't hear it, changed the subject really fast, and talked about something else.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, like I said, I mean, biggest thing is we adore you. We're glad that you're back. And like I said, we talk about you every day, going down the hallway. Me and my staff talk about you every day. So like I said, if you did feel like that on your way out, or you felt like I retaliated in any way, I'm not that type of person. I love my residents. I go out of my way for my residents, and if I had a bad day that last day, it wasn't anything against you whatsoever. I'm sure it was something else that had happened, but as far as me and you, I'm so glad you're back. I mean, that's the thing. You are one of our favorite residents. So, but I do want you to do me a favor. If you feel that I've said something or I've done something, come to me right then and there. Let's talk about it, because now you've been gone for 2 months and this has been festering and you're really upset about it, and I hate that. If I had known that you was upset with me whatsoever that day, I would have picked up that phone the next day and called you and worked it out. That's the type of person that I am. And
so for me, I like to take a step back. I don't like to jump to conclusions. Gotcha. Number one, I don't just act on a first impulse. I take a mental note, and I'm, as I said, I'm a PTSD survivor. So in that moment, I'm going to act like everything's okay, gotcha. But inside I'm frozen. So it takes time to process and to get to the point where I feel strong enough to deal with what's coming at me on a true basis. If not, it just goes into that, like, flight or flight, right? So I just one or the other. And we all have that, and we deal with it in different ways. And this is my coping mechanism. This is the way that I do, and that's why I cook so much, or I put my energy into something creative, so that I'm not expelling it on ways that are not healthy or whatever. And I think that's great. I'm not putting anybody on their journeys one or the other. But what I can say is that I've learned not to cause any motion around me or commotion, and at the detriment to myself.
Yeah.
And at some point, if it violates my rights and the law, I'm not about it. So I'm 42 now, and at 22 I probably wouldn't have cared and just moved forward. But at this point, I'm not gonna do that.
And I care too. Like I said, the biggest thing is again, it really hurts my heart that I made you feel that way, and I'm very sorry if I did.
It's okay.
No.
Everybody has a bad day. Everybody has, listen, if you had misheard and misunderstood different things from different people, of course you weren't rude, you didn't say anything bad, you just ignored me, and I'm an empath, so I feel it, right?
Yeah.
So, and could have been anything, as I said, so I didn't feel the need to confront you or to whatever. I just felt the need to step back and see how it plays out. And maybe I was wrong, which I'm always hoping that if somebody's not showing me the kind of love that I'm showing back to them, then maybe there was a misunderstanding. So that's why I didn't bring it up to you. Yeah. I didn't care. I didn't talk to anybody.
You've been mad at me for 2 months now.
No, I haven't been mad with you. I've been so sick. Shannon, I've been so sick. I was like, listen, I haven't been mad with you, and this is the only reason. Because I thought, man, I've been so kind to Shannon. I love her, and there's nothing that when I go to sleep tonight that I know that I put out there or whatever to feel guilty or bad about.
And
so that's the only reason I wasn't mad with you. People take cheap shots at me all the time. And I don't get mad with them because I'll just waste my own energy in getting mad with them. You know,
Man, I'm just not that person. If even if I knew in that moment that I'd upset you, I would have grabbed you and gave the biggest hug to you, and told you that I was sorry in that moment.
Right.
So that's not me. And I'm sure that it was a bad day because, there's nothing more than I adore you. We all adore you. That's the thing, and it does. It's crushing me because I made you feel that way.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I honestly came back, Shannon, to say, I thought I'm just gonna come back, sort this out, and figure it out and go. And as I said, I've been so even for the rent, I told Allie that Monday I will give her a check for $5,000 that she can hold, so that till all this thing processes through, because I don't want to ruin the relationship I have with you, or my credit, or my whatever. You gotta understand, my ex-husband's family is very wealthy, and they took care of everything till my divorce. And so now I'm like this 40-year-old woman rebuilding and restarting from, and also being taken a lot of advantage of because I'm alone. And I don't have my ex-family are Republicans, and in fact even their lawyer for my immigration said he lost the my paperwork, and so I called him 10 years later with a new lawyer to say, will you represent me since you did my paperwork 10 years ago? And he goes, no, he can't because he represents my ex-husband. I was like, interesting. Right. Very nice. And so he hasn't even returned my call because he knows he's in a lot of hot water for doing that. And now, before there was no reason why people would think, why would he do that? Now, 10 years later, he's his lawyer on hand, family lawyer. I think there was disclosure. So people take cheap shots all the time. I get it. I'm not one to fight about it. I want everybody to be happy. I want them to look good, eat good, feel good, and go do their thing. But this whole situation here, even with Rex, I didn't text him anything like, hey, go get my stuff, put it into my apartment, or nothing. He texted me saying, you want back? I said, no, I should be back next week. Then he texted me a little bit later, and I said, hey, great, whatever. And that was it. There was no communication of anything, of anybody. And now that makes me feel like, who can I trust that will go into my apartment and not go into my apartment,
Yeah. I need to figure that part out, because like I said, that I didn't know he went into your apartment.
Right, but as standard operating procedure, what's your protocol on somebody?
There should have been a call or an email, permission given.
But since there wasn't, what's the repercussion?
I have to talk to my company about it. Like I said, I'm finding all this out right now.
Right.
So I need to call my supervisor.
Right, yeah. You really have to, because right now it's an automatic $10,000 fine. Automatic. I just have to fill out the paperwork, and then it's a complaint to HUD, which means the broker on record is going to get into a lot of trouble. I don't want to go that route. I really don't want to go that route. I just want to get off this floor, get it whatever, get it sorted out, and let's try to build our. I have to say I'm a little bit more guarded. Makes me want to look down and not smile at people and not embrace them or whatever, which is not me.
Yeah, please, don't be like that. Smile. We need your smile. We need our sharing. And that's
But think about how that makes me
I
feel,
know.
Shannon.
I
Think
know.
about how that made me feel.
And I'm sorry. Like I said, I can't take back anything of a feeling we made you feel, but it was not intentional. Like I said, we absolutely adore you. My whole staff does.
And as I said, I've taken time to go out and make sure that I care about these people. I treat them with respect and kindness. And
Look at the donuts.
Huh?
Look at the donuts.
Yeah, well, and that's me. Like, if I'm gonna do for me, I want to do for everybody. It's not just. There's no joy in me eating a box of donuts for myself. You know, I want to share it. That's the joy of it. And I learned a long time ago that people do things and expect something in return. And when you just do things and expect nothing in return, then the universe gives you everything you need and more. So give without expectation, which is what I do, and it's just really to bless. And I know what it's like to have a staff, and I know what it's like to have a good running business, and how it's important for everybody to have their autonomy and feel wanted and worked in a good relationship. Nobody wants to feel special, and right now something's wrong because 4 out of 6 people are telling me that they're totally unhappy with how you're running downstairs and how you've changed the thing in relationship with him. So for you yourselves, you need to look into that.
Yeah, that's good to know. Yeah, because I will definitely.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I know that you. I'm sorry, this has just got me upset.
No, don't be upset, Shannon. Listen, we got a solution. We don't need to be upset. We have a solution. We can go forward. We can make, I just want to get off this floor. I don't think it's good. Like, also, when I'm cooking, I feel like when people smell it, I feel an obligation to want to have to share too, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm cooking. And I think because I cook so much, it'll be a better idea for me to get off this floor where I can share as I want to. Even like, and I told you before, I get into this trap where I say, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this, and I don't consider everything else. And then I put all this pressure on myself. And that's why I said, I'm not going to tell you when I'm going to do it, but I'll just do it and show up. Because as soon as there's a end point, then my PTSD and my stuff is like, okay, now you procrastinate, and now, oh my gosh, you're letting everybody down, and oh my gosh, you got 4 hours, it's never going to work. Yeah. And just my own negative thought processes that go through that. So I have to also be cognizant of myself and love myself enough to say, you know what, you took on too much, or say no and find some kind of boundary where you can both meet your needs. I want to share, but not feel like I've been overtaken, overrun, and this has happened to me in the past. Yeah. And so that's why I know, like, to at least set my limits. But as an Indian girl, I was taught to put everybody in front of me and put myself last. Yeah. And so that's always going to be my program that I go back to, whatever I can change, whatever, like, when I get stressed, and it's always going to be my, what do you call that? Like, your main programming?
Where you fall back.
That you fall back
default.
to. Yeah, default. It's always going to be my default. And which is fine, because I love taking care of people and stuff. If out of everything in the world, if that's my Achilles heel, it's okay. I'll deal with it. But
and that shows. It totally shows. And we expect nothing from you except for to be a good, happy resident. You know? So yeah.
So I didn't understand why, like, that whole situation flipped in that moment, and it could have just been a process of these things. As I said, I'm being very honest with you, and I'm putting it all on the table, and no need to feel upset, Shannon. Things like this happen, and it's not what comes up, it's what you can get over and how you move forward to build relationships. I honestly believe that every relationship comes into your life to teach you something, and in every bad thing there's an equal opportunity of a gift. So it's how you look at it. And the first things that went through my mind is everything as a broker, like, this is my rights are violated, blah, 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 and whatever. And then I sat down as a human being and said, like, do I really want to, with Sundance coming up, like, take on another of this and have that stress? What's the best way to work this out, where we both meet our needs and move forward? I don't want to have any stress with anybody or anything.
I don't either.
like I said, I am a very caring person, and just to know that I upset you.
Right, and that made me feel like, why is Shannon upset with me? Like, what did I do to? And I was thinking, like, maybe you thought something had happened with Rex or something. And I'm like, no, he's been the sweetest, nicest person. And, you know, I felt like I had that relationship to call him and say, I know, like, a B has a wife, and I'm not going to say he comes to